I met Jared probably 15 years ago at least. Young engineering graduate from Auburn, really bright guy, could be doing anything in the world he chose to do. And he and his wife, Sarah, got two bright little girls and great voices. They sang in the choir. And then next thing I know, Jared felt the Lord leading him into mission. So he went with the International Mission Board of the Southern Baptists in a really hard place in Pakistan. And was over there for a number of years. And there was some change in leadership and some turmoil in place, so Jared came back home. He's from Opelika, which is just like Auburn, Opelika, right, built together. And then Jared came, and a young attorney, I say he's still young. Andy's young. Andy, I remember Andy Birchfield, he'll tell you about it, that Andy was in my Sunday school class, and he was going to law school at night and working hard, one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. Well, when the hurricane hit Haiti about 10 years ago, Andy just felt compelled to go to Haiti and felt like he could rescue some orphans down there. Well, it turns out, long story short, you'll hear the story of what became of that idea. Jared is now the executive director for Children's Hope, which is an astonishing ministry in Jacmel, Haiti. And so he'll when we get dessert, he'll be sharing about that ministry. And we're doing that because I remember Richard one night, we were at dinner. This is all Richard's fault. He said, we'd like to hear about some of the things that funds that are coming through the foundation are supporting. Well, one of them is Children's Hope. Funds go to help that organization. People have designated that. So you'll hear that. Well, one little footnote, there is a video that Jared's going to show that's a fundraising video. So I want you to ignore the pitch. We're not pitching anybody. I want you to ignore that, but it does tell the story. It tells the story of how that goes. So in just a moment, after the dessert comes out, then Jared will come up and share with us. So Jared, thank you for being here, and we look forward to hearing from you.
All right. Thank you so much, Barry. Thank you, John. It really is an honor to be here with you this evening and to be with you tomorrow. I know that's something people always say when they do stuff like this because you're supposed to say that, but I genuinely mean that. It truly is an honor to be here because I deeply appreciate the staff of the Baptist Foundation and the work that you all do. So then to get to be here with the larger team of your investment board, your investment managers, this really is a privilege. The work that you all are doing is making a profound impact. I think you know that. I know you heard some about that last year from Rod Marshall as he talked about the work that Alabama Baptist Children's Home is doing here in Alabama to serve children from hard places, children that are in desperate situations, and you heard clear testimonies of lives changed through that. So the Baptist Foundation is partnering with organizations like Alabama Baptist Children's Home, but did you know they also are partnering with ministries like Children's Hope in Haiti and ministries that are serving in places around the world. So tonight I want to share with you a little about the impact that you are a part of in the country of Haiti through Children's Hope. Children's Hope has a number of key financial supporters that support our ministry through the foundation, and as you are working with them to maximize their resources, to make wise decisions, to invest their earthly resources to make earthly and eternal differences, you are changing the lives of children and families and communities in Haiti, and we want to say thank you for the work that you do. Now, Haiti is a country that faces many challenges. That could be the understatement of the evening. If you know anything about Haiti, you know that there are some deeply rooted issues there. There are political challenges, there's socioeconomic challenges, there's significant challenges to just daily life in the country. There's many places like that around the world, but Haiti in this season has been in a particularly low place. Over 80% unemployment, significant food insecurity, where for many families, just to put some kind of food on their table is their goal for the day, for the week, for the month. They're just trying to survive. Very low access to education, low access to quality medical care. These days, just significant distrust of the government, widespread demonstrations that have cut off supply of food and fuel to different parts of the country, to the point where even people with money go into the market and there's no rice to be bought in the market. So it was to this place that 10 years ago the Lord began to call a family from Montgomery to start a ministry to orphans and vulnerable children there. So I want to show this video that tells a little bit of that story, and then I want to talk about a few people there down in Haiti.
In 2009, our family adopted a little girl from Moldova, and just going through that process, God opened our eyes to one, His heart for orphans, and two, the enormous need. And so out of that, we sensed God's call for us to start an orphan ministry. And in 2010, Children's Hope was launched. Our mission in Haiti is to impact the nation for Christ. And we're seeking to do that by caring for children, strengthening families, and serving communities. We currently have an orphanage where we have 6 houses that serve as homes for over 50 children. And in those homes, the children are cared for, they are nurtured, they are loved with the love of Jesus.
Our local staff, it's a beautiful thing to watch. And so we have this team of people who love the kids and care for them. And you can see that. You look at the interactions between the children and the nannies, the way that they hug each other, the eye contact, the smile. You can see that there's genuine love and care for the kids.
And we now have 10 schools with over 1,200 students. And these are students that otherwise wouldn't be in school. Unlike the U.S. where every child has an opportunity, that's not the situation there.
There are national schools that you can send your child to. It costs about $5 a year, but the teachers don't show up. And typically you can graduate out of that program without reading or writing. With our schools, it's different. We strategically support schools that are in areas where children would not have the opportunity to go to school anywhere else. And we supply uniforms, shoes, supplies, books, 1 meal a day, so that these kids can come to school.
We have a medical clinic that sees over 120 patients per week. We have 2 full-time Haitian doctors on staff. It also serves as a platform for medical teams from the U.S. to go and minister to the people in Haiti. And it's hard for us as Americans to imagine what it's like not to have decent health care.
So if you hurt yourself in Haiti and you go to the hospital, the doctor will write out what you need to do to go downtown and buy before they can serve you. So that will be gloves, that'll be syringes, needles, gauze, the medication that they need, lidocaine. If you need stitches, you're gonna need to go downtown and buy that or have someone that can buy it. So if you don't have those resources, there's no way you can't get help.
But for the medical clinic and the medical care that we're able to provide, children would have died from these simple infections. Haiti is a hard place, and we have seen people set free. People are coming to know the hope and the joy of Jesus Christ. Over 3,000 people have been set free from darkness and into the joyous light of Jesus Christ.
I became a donor to Children's Hope many years ago and have been supporting them ever since. And there's a lot of different places that I could give resources if I so chose. And I sort of narrowed down my charitable giving to things that help spread the gospel and help the least of these with food, shelter, and clothing with their basic needs. And Children's Hope is perfect in that. I know of no better ministry that I've supported on the entire planet that does a better job of helping the least of these with the basic human needs and spreading the gospel. And to me, that's what it's all about. 100% of the money that you donate goes straight to help the people, the children and the others, because the overhead is covered through other donations each year. And so basically anyone that wants to give can know that the money's going straight to help the folks that need it.
What we're hoping to see is more fruit from the work that we're doing, more people coming to know Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior, more children taken from the streets, taken from broken homes, and being built up to be solid, safe, secure, loved children and effective leaders in the country.
If If you're tempted to come to Haiti, or if you're tempted to visit Haiti, if you're tempted to give, to fund one of our programs, or to give even $10, I encourage you to come. I encourage you to come and meet the staff, meet the kids, see the needs and see the difference that Children's Hope is making. We don't see Children's Hope as just an organization, it's a family. And we have a lot of different facets, we have a lot of different programs that are going on. But every single one of those programs is starting with the premise of the love of Christ and just love from our own hearts that are pouring out on the people around us.
I would ask you to carefully pray and seek God's direction in how you can become involved in the work that He is doing in Jacmel, Haiti through Children's Hope.
So it all started with 16 kids living in a tent being cared for by a 22-year-old Haitian man. So the Birchfields and some others had made a trip in 2010 following the devastating earthquake in Haiti. And their plan was to find an orphanage, find a children's home that they could begin partnering with and supporting. Maybe send a check each month, help provide food and basic needs. But we soon found out that God's plan was something so much bigger. So on this initial trip, they encounter these kids that had been living in an orphanage, was completely destroyed by the earthquake. But by the end of that trip, they secured housing for this initial group of kids. They found a place for them to go to school. They found caregivers to begin caring for them. And that began the ministry of Children's Hope in Haiti. And over the years, the 16 kids have expanded to now 50 kids that are under our care through many different steps, through many ups and downs and highs and lows that you would expect working somewhere like Haiti. We've seen our ministry expand to now where we're educating over 1,200 children. We're providing medical care to over 6,000 community members through our medical dental clinic. And they talk some in the video about challenges to healthcare in Haiti, just the smallest thing. You have a motorcycle accident, you get a serious wound on your leg. Many people died just from the infection from that because there was no access to medical care. But now we have 2 amazing, well-trained Haitian physicians that are able to provide care to them. And we've saved many lives through our clinic there. And all of this has been fueled by hundreds of individuals and families and churches and businesses that have felt called to come alongside what we're doing and to make a difference for people there that really, really need it. Well, I'm going to be honest with you about a question that I've kind of been wrestling with as I think about our ministry, as I think about what's happening in Haiti, and just kind of a deep-seated question that I've just been sitting with and really trying to seek an answer to. You know, I think one of the greatest challenges of working somewhere like Haiti, where the needs are just so great, the magnitude of the problem is so far beyond anything that we can solve on our own. The number of needs and the people needing to be served is so far beyond what we can actually do. And the question I keep sitting with is, are we really making a difference? Are we doing enough? Are we being effective in the way that we're going about doing our ministry? And I see all of the amazing things we're doing. I see the thousands of lives being impacted. I see the dozens of churches that we're partnering with there, facilitating gospel ministry. But yet when you look at it against the backdrop of Haiti and the hugeness of the problems that are there, that question keeps sitting with me. Are we really making a difference? The task before us feels very overwhelming, but as I've thought about that, there's 2 things that have come to my mind that have helped me to shift my perspective. And I think this can be helpful for us anytime we're doing big things, anytime we're doing things that seem bigger than us. Here's 2 things that have helped me kind of change my perspective. And that is, number 1, to see the value of one. I'm going to talk about that. To see the value of one. And then number 2, to remember the power of strategic investment. That's something that I know you guys know about. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit different way. So the value of one, a sincere belief that everyone matters. Not just that everyone matters, which is also true, but is a little bit more out there, but the belief that everyone matters. Every boy, every girl, every man, every woman that we encounter in Haiti has intrinsic, significant value. They have a story. They have hopes. They have dreams. They have fears. They have things that they want to do with their life, and they are so valuable. They are so worthy of us taking the time to see them and to understand them and to do what we can to help them. And when we truly understand the immense value of each person, then we're able to see the great value in each thing we do to serve them, to empower them, to help them, to make a difference in their lives. Even the small things mean a lot when you realize how valuable each person is. For some that we serve in Haiti, we're just a very small part of their story. Maybe we were doing a mobile medical clinic up in their village, and they were able to come, and they were able to see smiles on the faces of the nurses that were there that maybe help bandage a wound or help give some vitamins to their kids. You know, maybe it wasn't anything that changed their life or saved their life, but that day somebody told them, you matter. God sees you, God knows you, and He loves you, and we do too. But for others, we have been a central part of their story. We have literally saved their lives from medical emergencies or dire situations. We provided a home and a family when they had none. We provided employment for over 160 people in a place where that may be the only thing that allows their family to have food. Or we've been a part of moving them from spiritual darkness and bondage to spiritual light and eternal life in Jesus Christ. When we remember the immense value of every one and consider the many ones we have touched in some way and the many more to come, it's an encouragement to press on in what we are doing. It's an encouragement to keep reaching more ones. And I want to tell you the story of just a story that's fresh on my mind from my last trip to Haiti that illustrates this. So I was there. We had a medical mission team that was there, just 5 nurses from Alabama. Some of them had been many times before. 2 of them had never been. This was their first trip. You know, a lot of questions of, you know, are we really going to be able to make a difference? And so one day I was up with them. They've got the clinic set up. We drove about 2 hours up into the mountains. And so the patients begin filing in, and they've got a system where they see the nurse or they see our doctor, and we write them a prescription, and they go and somebody prays with them. And I noticed one of the nurses, she was talking to a patient, and then she looked up and she saw somebody out in the line outside. And I saw her just look, and I just saw her eyes start to tear up. And so as her patient that she was seeing finished and went to the next station, she grabbed me and she said, I remember that man. And I said, you know, how do you remember him? And she said, well, we did a clinic here last year, and I remember that man. I recognize him. And the story was last year, this man who lives up in this village, he's probably early 30s, so not an old guy, but he came to the clinic that day. Somebody helped him walk in there. He could not see. He could not speak. He could not walk under his own power. And this man was probably a couple days away of dying from infection. When they looked in his mouth from dental stuff that was going on, infection was so severe that it had impaired his speaking, his seeing, his hearing, something here that just would be easily solvable, but there was no medical care available to this man. He had no way to get to the hospital. Even if he got there, who knows what kind of care he would have gotten. But because this team was there and Martha saw him and immediately realized we need to get him some help, we were able to get him down to our medical clinic. Our Haitian dentist was able to see him, and we actually arranged for him to come down 2 or 3 times and to be seen by our dentist. Got him on strong antibiotics. And I watched as this man walked into the clinic this year with a smile on his face. And as he sat down with Martha, and as he looked her in the eye, and through the translator, he said, thank you for saving my life. The power of one, the difference we can make when we use our gifts, we use our opportunities to invest in one. It makes a difference. So the value of one, and then the second thing, the power of strategic investment. And what I'm talking about is strategic investment in the lives of other people. When we strategically invest in the lives of the right people, we exponentially increase the fruit of our own lives in ministry. And as that applies to Children's Hope's work, as we strategically invest in our children, in the pastors we partner with, and the other community leaders that we're working with, we multiply ourselves and our impact in Haiti. And this is the way that we see that Jesus operated, right? When we read in the New Testament, we read in the Gospels, Jesus saw the crowds. He ministered to them. I'm going to talk about that in the morning briefly during the devotional time. But Jesus saw the crowds. He saw the value of each one, and he cared about them. He healed them. He taught them. He invested in them because he knew that everyone mattered. But then what did he do? He strategically invested in a few people that he pulled together, and he spent a majority of his time with, and he poured into them, and he taught them, and he encouraged them, and he walked with them. And because of that, he multiplied himself and his ministry through them. And we are seeing the value of that strategic investment in people in our ministry in Haiti. And I want to tell you about two people that really illustrate that to me. And one is a guy named Pastor Mark. And Pastor Mark is around my age. You're actually going to hear from him in a short video that we're going to play in the morning. Pastor Mark, about 10 years ago when Children's Hope started, was just a young guy that kind of felt called to ministry. And, you know, it's kind of funny now when I look back and I see pictures of him and he's kind of standing over on the side and, you know, he's got this big suit on that looks like he's wearing his dad's suit maybe, and just, you know, this nondescript guy. But one of our missionaries that was there with Children's Hope at the time, he met Pastor Mark and he saw something in him. He saw the potential, he saw his vision, he saw his heart, and he began investing in him. He began meeting with him, he began teaching him, he began training him in leadership and encouraging him that, you know what, I think God's got big things for you to do here in Haiti. And by the time I came on the scene 4 years ago with Children's Hope, Pastor Mark was one of our 3 lead pastors that we've been working with. Let me tell you some of the things that he does. This nondescript guy that, you know, was just starting his seminary training. So Pastor Mark not only pastors one church, but he has now planted 3 or 4 other churches in the mountains of Haiti. And these churches become hubs from which we can send teams to do these medical mission teams. It becomes hubs from which we can start schools that feed the children and provide education. It provides places where he can train and invest in other leaders who then can train and invest in other leaders. And we begin to see the power of that multiplication. In fact, this year, Pastor Mark and another pastor started a pastor training program. And they have 10 men that they train for 2 years that are going to be able to pastor these new church plants and then carry on that process of investing in others. And the second group of 30 pastors is starting this fall. Just this past week, in the midst of all of this turmoil in Haiti, where Children's Hope, we had to pull our missionaries out. They can't even be there right now because it's so dangerous. But what is Pastor Mark doing? He's gathering together 50 pastors in the community to pray for the nation and to say, what can we do to help the people? And I saw a photo he posted on Facebook. I don't even know how he did this, but he got a truckload of rice, a truckload of beans, of oil that they're strategically distributing to the people that need it the most. Strategic investment in the life of this one man has resulted in hundreds and thousands being impacted. And we don't even know what the fruit is going to be as the leaders he's train other leaders who train other leaders. That is how you see a community change. That's how you see a country changed. One last story I'll tell you is about Eddie. Eddie is a young man that is under our care in Haiti. He's now 17 years old, but Eddie was one of the original 16 kids that was living in that tent. So at that time, he was a 6-year-old boy, anxious, fearful, quiet, timid. But as time went on and as our staff loved and invested in Eddie, as they sought out what his passions and what his interests were and began developing that and feeding that and encouraging that, they began to see Eddie blossom. Over the last few years, Eddie has sensed a call to be a pastor, to be a minister in Haiti that helps others. And so we began feeding that. We began giving him opportunities to teach the younger kids. And so he would lead Bible studies. Eddie would lead the music there. Music is a big thing in that culture. And so at their Tuesday night worship meetings, Eddie would be the one leading the other kids in singing and dancing. And Eddie actually this summer moved into our transition home in the community with one of our other boys as they began to prepare for living independently. and he still feels a clear call to be a pastor. And so we're gonna enable that by giving him access to seminary, giving him the training that he needs to best position him to serve in that way. And I just was thinking today, wouldn't it be cool if Eddie is the next Pastor Mark that's impacting thousands of lives, from this little boy living in a tent to a pastor that's meeting the needs of thousands of people, the value of strategic investment. Well, I want to thank you again for the impact that you are making in the world. I hope that this will be affirming to you that the things you are doing on behalf of the Baptist Foundation is making an immense difference in Haiti, in Alabama, and around the world. And I'm sure through many ways that I have no idea about, you're making a difference, but I know you are making a difference through your work with the Baptist Foundation. And Children's Hope is just one small example of that. And Lord willing, we will continue reaching and serving many more ones in Haiti. And we will press on and strategically investing in key partners who will do more than we could ever even imagine. Thank you so much.